There are modes that you can rise your vibration up so high that you're shifting out of even this material realm of the third dimension that we experience here in our world, up into fourth, fifth, sixth, D, what have you, depending on your belief system. And there's a desire so deeply ingrained in this to leave this experience. People talk about New Earth, which in the beliefs of New Earth is a higher vibrating version of our planet, wherein our energy is lighter. There is a lot more freedom and happiness. People are more honest and open and playful. The colors are brighter. The food tastes better. And it's a fantasy realm. There's an idea that somehow we're simply going to shift the frequency into a whole nother time and space where we'll leave this density behind and it'll be a past that we'll soon forget about. But that's not very realistic. That's more like a Disney story. And the problem with chasing ascension is that it pulls you more and more away from what's happening now. Now, there's a dichotomy here, a catch-22. Because most people that are pursuing spirituality understand that it's very important to be in the now moment, in the present moment. But at the same time, if they're focused on ascension, they're focused on something that they haven't obtained to date. And they're goal-oriented and driven forward, which means they're not able to fully embrace and enjoy what is happening now. So the pursuit of ascension can be very dangerous. First, because there's a lot of false beliefs around what ascension actually is. What does it mean? And there's a lot of ideas around graduating in spiritual pursuits. Though ascension is a term that the spiritual community has taken, which really is a maturity into your spirituality. It's more growth into who you are, expanding into your consciousness more completely. They say that we utilize only 5% of our consciousness at any given time. 95% of how we function and navigate our life is subconsciously. So ascension is really diving into oneself, not going up and out into some other realm or other frequency dimensionality where there's higher beings waiting to greet you and welcome you. That's not a realistic view. Now, the other lie I want to focus on is the empath's trap. So a lot of people talk about being an empath. And what does that mean? Well, years ago, I heard Abraham Hicks answer a question from an audience member. And the audience member was a woman who termed herself as an empath, which to be an empath means that you believe you are a very empathic soul. You're sensitive to a point where you pick up on other people's emotions, even if they don't tell you, to an extreme, more than normal. And what has been synonymous with being an empath is absorbing and being so sensitive that you take on other people's feelings and experiences. So the woman in the audience asks, she says, I'm an empath. How do I help protect my energy? And I'm always absorbing other people's stuff. What does that mean for me? And Abraham Hicks answers and says, to be an empath doesn't mean that you are a victim. That's kind of what's happened. Empaths don't have weak boundaries. That's not what it is. If you're a true empath or desire to be a true empath, then you have extremely healthy, strong boundaries. You know how to maintain your energy. You understand your standards, and you do not absorb other people's energies because that's inappropriate. If you're absorbing other people's energies, then you're actually simply sympathizing with them. There's a huge difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is wherein you're holding an elevated experience of allowance and safety and comfort, all the while opening up space to understand the situation that somebody else may be going through that is experienced as difficult, painful, what have you. You hold your elevated experience and create a space where they can eventually make it to that place while feeling safe to be in the trenches with their heavy emotions. Sympathy is when you drop your energy down and match your frequency to their level. You commiserate. Misery loves company. So when you're sympathetic to somebody, you're acting as a peer with their energy. If they're in pain, you're feeling their pain. And to be in sympathy with somebody, unfortunately, in my belief, is to drop your boundaries. So a true empath isn't so hypersensitive that they can't handle being around other people because it makes them sick or weak. That's not what it's about. It's about allowing yourself to have very strong, healthy boundaries and modeling what is good around emotional health while holding space and allowance, non-judgment, non-bias for where anybody else is at in their own experience. Another thing that empaths do, which is very unhealthy, is they personalize things. And this is something that will immediately drop your boundaries. You'll get upset, you'll get triggered, you'll get emotional, and you'll take on other people's experiences. And in the same regard, other people will take advantage of you. They will always come to you and offload and dump their burdens onto you because they understand that you're not just a listening ear, but they can crutch on you. That's not a healthy relationship dynamic. That falls into people pleasing. So if you perceive yourself as an empath, but you're actually somebody that simply has weak boundaries, I ask you to take a moment and question this, because it's not healthy for you to go into an environment and get sick with the energy that's around you, or feel like you can't be around people because you're just taking on all their emotions. That simply means that you're not maintaining your boundaries, and therefore you're not able to model what is healthy and comfortable. Now, the next topic that I find a lot of people experience with lies and myths about spiritual realms is intuition. And intuition is a very large umbrella term. Intuition can be, psychic abilities. It can be channeling. It can just be knowing that something's different, right? It's synonymous a little bit with our instincts. This can be knowing truths, having prophecy, what have you. And in spirituality, intuition goes hand in hand. Though, where does intuition come from? Now, when I talk to animals, they don't call it intuition. They don't call it telepathy. For them, it's simply nature. It's their nature. They never let go of their ability to tune into energy, to read energy, and connect through a subtle frequency. But humans did. We let go of this experience. We're born highly intuitive, highly empathic, extremely telepathic, though the adults and caretakers around us are totally off tune with these abilities. So as we grow up, we learn to let them go. We aren't being given tools to cultivate these experiences. So when we're developing intuition from a young age, it's very common that intuition is being developed because we're in a hypervigilant state. Now, it's not the only reason somebody can be intuitive, because it's your nature. You can have a very healthy, warm, and comfortable upbringing and stay completely connected and developing in your intuition. Though a lot of people who have connected with others that deem themselves as intuitive understand that it's quite common for intuitive people to have a lot of trauma, emotionally speaking, in their past. And they were raised in situations wherein hypervigilance was a very important coping mechanism to their upbringing, because they didn't have consistency in their environments. So they began to become extremely aware of subtle changes, nuances of people's emotions around them, to help them maintain their ability to stay safe, because they weren't feeling safe enough in their environment. So they become very adept at the tiny little subtle changes in the environment to gauge if that's okay. Much like, a lot of the animals in nature can hear tiny little cricks in the wind and a tree branch snap, what have you. And hypervigilance is one major way in which intuition is cultivated. And at the same time, a lot of people confuse their instincts with their intuition. So if we're connecting with our instincts, we're on a more primal level. This is going to be more of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. And everybody has some connection to their instinctual ability, whether or not they act on it. Though intuition is being able to take your instinctual ability to a higher level in which you can expand into why an instinct is coming up. What does it mean? What's behind the sensation or the body feeling? So intuition and hypervigilance and trauma have a very synonymous relationship for a lot of people. And this isn't a negative thing to look at. I think it's a wonderful thing when we've moved through trauma and we've cultivated our intuition to help us find a way to meet our own needs. So I hope this has helped you guys a little bit with some of the lies and myths around spirituality, and I'll be back with a part 3.